Volvos have seem to have decided again they're not going to sell estate cars. So I think,
What?
yeah, it was in Auto Kart magazine
Ah,
yesterday,
fuck's sake.
and yeah, it was like
Right. That's just beyond ridiculous.
it,
Volvo
yeah,
is estates. They even raced them in the 90s.
they did.
Um, that's beyond ridiculous. Mind you, I suppose if they're just making SUVs, they don't need estates, do they? Do they actually make cars anymore? Does anybody make a traditional three-box car or a hatchback anymore?
Well, they don't want to. You see, I sort of understand it, right? Because I've had a Volvo V70 recently. It's not the first one I've had, but I sort
Yeah,
of bought it. I bought it by mistake. You saw it minutes after I bought it, and
I
yeah,
did.
it was okay, but it was a huge, huge thing, and I don't really need. I didn't need a huge thing like that, did I? I don't really need it, but if I had a an SUV, well, that's sort of slightly cool, isn't it? You see, so I think even though people definitely don't need an SUV of any shape or description, but that is suddenly a very cool. Everyone has decided in the last 20 years that's a very cool shape to have, and you sit high above the proletariat.
Proletariat.
Yeah, uh, the peasants.
Well,
You sit high above the peasants. So I just think it's a cool thing. Whereas I don't think people think estates are very cool anymore, and people just think, oh, it's a waste of space. But actually, an SUV is the biggest waste of space ever. But that doesn't matter.
well, you know what? It's all relative. If everybody's driving SUVs, James, then they're all
Yeah,
at the same height. So,
yeah, they are. Mm,
and you know what? In a side impact,
mm,
SUVs, when they
mm,
get hit by a normal car, the car wedges underneath and flips them over.
yeah,
So they're not actually as safe as people think. I think
mm,
they give a false impression of safety.
yeah.
Although I did, my mate's got two young lads, um, and he's bought a Volvo XC90. When I drove it the other day, he's got the fast one, the 450 horsepower T8 thing, and it's a bloody missile.
It'd be a very silly idea not to make estate cars anymore. Or we've got to make
Well,
estate cars cool. So yeah, we've got to have a future-proof entry into the BTCC. And you can drive. So there you go.
well, I I mean, I've never particularly liked estates cars because not because I don't like them. I think they're great. I think they have their place and everything. I don't particularly like them because if I had one, my wife would stick a dog in the boot, and or people want to borrow it to move stuff.
Yeah.
So I never really had one. I mean, they're very useful. They're very good. But no, I haven't. I never got bitten by the estate bug. I've always liked coupes. I've always liked three doors. Always.
Well, that's right. Well, there used to be three-door estate cars, the
Yeah.
Escort and all sorts, and that's completely died out.
When I first passed my test, my mate Giles had a Vauxhall Astra 1.6 diesel, four-speed manual, non-turbo, three-door Astra Estate in red, commonly known as dog cock red. Bit disgusting, but quite graphic. And yeah, we went everywhere in that thing at seemingly impossible speeds, but it was the slowest thing I'd ever been in my life. And it was also one of the ugliest cars I think ever made.
Because they used to call them shooting brakes, didn't they? So yeah, a three-door estate car was a shooting brake because that's what they
Yeah.
used to, build, didn't it? In the 1950s, you take some old Bentley and put a greenhouse on the back and take all your mates shooting in it.
Do you remember a company called Lynx? They used to
Yeah,
make an XJS shooting brake.
they did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what everybody still thinks is quite cool.
But estate cars make more sense to me than SUVs simply because you don't have the running costs. As soon as you raise up the ride height, aerodynamics are crap, so fuel consumption goes through the floor, and the weight goes through the roof because you've got more metal, more real estate, and more weight with a four-wheel drive system. So everything is just more expensive. So estate cars, I think, are a much better idea, and you can get just as much as in an estate as you can in an SUV.
We could make estate cars cool again.
Good luck with that, mate. Please like and subscribe.